Do you ever feel like you have just so much more to learn before you can even start, whether it's your business, maybe it's a new talent, a new hobby? Well, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in today's podcast. Let's go. And now let's have a word from our sponsor. Wait, who's our sponsor? Oh, I'm the sponsor. That's right. Let's dive into this. All right, what's around the corner? Holidays. The holiday sales. What? Didn't we just put down our Christmas tree? I swear that happened last week, but it's true. The holiday sales are coming up, and I want to help you to find that perfect product to sell over the holiday season. I'm seeing into the back end of shopping carts right now, and I'll tell you what, 2021 is proving to be an explosive year. And I want you to be a part of the explosion. I used to charge for this, but because of what I'm seeing happen in the industry right now, it's free. Come join me for my 5-day sprint in helping you to find your perfect product to sell online. Go to findyourperfectproduct.com. We're starting on September 27th, 12 Mountain Time, 2 Eastern Time. Yep, it's live. I'll be there with you, and my team will be with you helping to answer your questions. You ready to do this? All right, go sign up. I'll see you in there. Hey, welcome to the Because I Can live podcast. I am so excited that you are here because today's podcast episode is going to be just a little bit different. You ready for it? It's going to be a 2-part series, and it's with a gal named Cathy Heller. I love Cathy Heller. If you don't know her yet, you're ready. You're going to love her. She has interviewed some of the top brilliant minds around the world. And you'll hear as she's interviewing me why people flock to her and ask them to be interviewed by her. She's brilliant at the way she asks questions. She articulates herself. And so I wanted to share this episode with you. Number one, to let you know a little bit more about Cathy Heller and give you a little nudge on going over, following her podcast, downloading it, giving her their rating and review because she's brilliant. And also so you can see just a little bit about her heart, and you can feel it radiate through the podcast, the way she asks questions, the way she gives feedback. I think you're really going to enjoy this podcast episode. So this is part 1. And then next week, I'll bring you part 2. All right, let's dive in.
Miss Alison is, she's a woman with a huge heart, and she's super creative, and she is smart and thinks out of the box. And she's also a mom with a few gorgeous kids. And she's also a wife and a daughter and all those things. And I want you to just catch everybody up a little bit, where you were at, what life looked like. Tell us as much of the truth of it as you want. And what happened that turned your life around that had to do with finding a business in the middle of your house.
All right. Maybe you've felt this before, or maybe you have a similar story. I went to college because I was told that was the way to financial security. I did what everybody said, get your degree, get a job. So I went into teaching, and I taught junior high math and science. It was so much fun. It was such a high to be with those kids and to teach those kids. But when they handed me my first paycheck, they also told me that I qualified for government assistance. And it was like I had been slapped upside the face. And to me, government assistance and financial security, they just don't go together. And so I was like, I don't choose this. I'm not going to choose to do government assistance. So I started a tutoring business. And that's what started to get me thinking that I could create my own money. And a couple months down the road, I was like, I don't want to work 2 jobs. This is crazy. I had a new baby who was nursing, my first one. And if you can remember what your first baby was like you're a basket case. And then I was working full time. And I said, I don't choose this life. And Cathy talks about waking up one day and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this isn't the life that I've dreamt of. I don't want to do this. And when she said that, I think about that moment when it resonated with me so hard that wasn't the life that I want to live. So speed it up. I look down, I have 4 children at this point. My husband's working. He's graduated physical therapist. But we were living the paycheck to paycheck life. we could afford to put food on our table, but we couldn't afford to put food on other people's table. When we had a sick neighbor, we just didn't have any wiggle room. And so I said, I wanted to start a business. And the thing that kind of resonated with me was I'm going to sell products from home and then be able to ship them out when my kids are sleeping. But everything I read said you had to have a lot of money to get a lot of inventory to sell your products. I didn't have any of that. And so I looked around my makeshift office and I found some stuff headed to the trash can. And it was leftover crafting supplies. And I put it up on a Jimmy rigged website that I had a friend built because I didn't know anything about technology. And I sold. And I was like, what? Like that, those first dollars, I literally felt like I had won the lottery. It was like $200 to $300. But for me, it showed me what was possible. And then I'm dancing around the kitchen, waking up the kids, like hooting and hollering because I had just felt like I'd struck this gold. And then I had sold out and I'm like, oh no, I got to find something else. So I go down to the birthday bin and I found these leftover Gable boxes that had cookies, like, I don't know, some cookies that we put in there and gave on a birthday thing. I put those up for sale and I didn't sell. And I'm like, that's okay. 50-50 shot. That's okay. That's okay. 50-50, I'll take this. And then the third day I put something else up and I don't remember. I wish I could remember what it was. I didn't sell either. And I remember that night I looked at my husband and I said, I just got lucky. I just got lucky. And he was standing next to me and I felt something and I heard something and I turned to him and I said, did you say something? And he said, no. But what was said to me in that moment changed everything. And I believe it was God. You can believe it was the universe, whatever you believe in. I feel like God said, Alison, I just showed you it's possible. How dare you quit? And it struck me so hard and so deep at that moment that I knew I couldn't quit. And I said, okay, I get it, but I need you as my business partner. And we got in the front seat of the business entrepreneur roller coaster and we made it happen. And I started selling stuff from around the house, things that I could find locally that I could sell beforehand. I would do pre-sales and then I would get the money in to be able to buy the product until I had built a multiple $1-million business by going into our second year. This is crazy to me. I was a junior high teacher who qualified for government assistance. To even today say multiple million, it still takes my breath away that this is even possible. And so just the whole like showing me that it's possible and then showing me the complete contrast of not selling and then God, universe, whatever you believe in, whispering to me and saying, yeah, this is possible. And I got in, and then 7 years later, we ended up selling that business. And then I did a couple others in between because I'm a serial entrepreneur. We had 8 businesses going at one point. And then I even taught my daughters how to do this, and they sold their first 6 figures while they were in junior high and elementary.
It's just so exquisite. And the thing is that it's easy in this world to be cynical because there's so many people who have broken our trust. And so we can see someone like her and think, oh gosh darn it, she's just so damn beautiful. And if she's that pretty, how could she really be this genuine? And she actually is the most genuine of all the people that I've met. And that's saying a lot because I know a lot of really cool people at this point. Last week, out of the blue, it's not like I had spoken. I mean, we talk frequently, but I hadn't just gotten off the phone with her or anything. And I got flowers delivered, the most beautiful flowers. And it was a note from Alison saying, I just want you to know I witness what you do in the world and it makes a difference. And I just love you. And thanks for being in the world. And I was like, oh my God, like for no reason, she just sent me that. So that's the kind of person that she is. And it's powerful. It's so powerful. That moment where you said, you heard God's voice say to you, I just showed you this is possible. How dare you quit? And then you said something even more powerful, which is, well, then you need to be my business partner. And that just cracks you wide open, doesn't it? And for so many of us, Alison, because I know where I was when I started, and I still get in this place often, which is we're so afraid to just start. Well, how do I figure it out? Well, I need to figure it out. And here you see and feel from Alison's energy that she literally didn't wait to figure anything out. She was like, what else can I sell? What else can I try? And she went from selling trash to building beautiful businesses, to starting to sell products that she liked, that she found that people really liked. Then she went to selling that business, then starting another business, all from literally not figuring it out, from not knowing what she was doing. And I want to dissect that, because that's really where all of this begins and ends. So what does that look like? And she now also, in addition to continuing to do her businesses and sell businesses and build businesses, she also teaches people exactly how to sell and make money from selling products and doing things with real tangible things, which I find fascinating because it's not the work that I do. But what do you share with people where they're like, but I don't know where to start, or I feel like I have to figure it out? How do we even begin to get the train on the tracks?
Well, I love that you asked that question, because if you figure it out, if you have it all figured out, you're going to sit in your closet and eat chocolate. There's so much out there. Like, just think about it. You're going to shut down Instagram and the reels. We got to keep up with the reels and Facebook Lives and YouTube and hashtags and algorithms. Like, you cannot learn it all. And if you think you do, you won't even start. And God knew that I could not handle that information. He didn't even give me a full step at a time. He gave me a half step at a time, because he knew that's what I could handle. When I sold that first product, those leftover crafting supplies, I didn't even know how to ship anything besides a letter with a stamp on it. When I made those first orders, I heard those dinging, the cha-ching, cha-ching coming in. I was so excited, and then it hit me all at once. I don't know how to ship this. I don't know how to get it to the post office. I have 4 kids. I don't leave my house. Like, what am I going to do? And if I would have thought about the whole process, I never would have started. And if he told me 10 years ago, Alison, one day you're going to be teaching and you're going to be on Cathy Heller's podcast, you're going to be with her students, I would have been like, no, I'm an introvert. I hide behind my computer and I sell cupcake liners and straws. No. But he knew my brain, my emotion, my mama stability could not handle that. And so it was half a step. And as I look at other entrepreneurs that are like, I've got this 15-year plan built out, I know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, don't do that, because maybe you're going to be running in the direction and you're going super fast to realize 30 miles down the road, it's not the direction that you want to be in, that you hate it. And so these little tiny steps, posting on Instagram for the first time, and you get crickets. Yes. Because then you learn the process and you don't have a following of 10 million to tell you that, I don't know, your eyebrows are crooked, right? You get to start with 0 following, and that's such a blessing. It really is. You've seen big people on Instagram. They get slaughtered for everything. You don't want to be big like that when you're going out the gate. Your soul, your mind, your spirit has to grow into that. It's not ready for it yet. So you start with the beginning. You start knowing you don't know what you're doing, and you accept it. You start knowing that your first logo, your first product is probably going to be a little jimmy rigged, and that's okay. Because if you look back at your product 6 months from now and you don't cringe, that means that you have been waiting way too long. You should have cringeworthy products 6 months ago. I look back at my first logo. Oh, it's embarrassing. But I'm so glad Google kept a record of it, because I deleted it. And I can go back and be like, oh, look at that logo. That's where I started, you guys. So nobody be embarrassed about their logo, because I don't think anybody could beat my ugly logo. You just start with what you have. Like, think about right now, what do you have? You have a computer. How many of you, can I do this, Cathy? Write it too, if you have a computer. Yeah, you guys, a phone. Yes, so you've already got what it takes. That's all you need to get started. You just have to do it, even though you know it's going to probably not be perfect the first time.
It's so good. I love what you said about how if you feel like you do know and you've got it figured out, and then you just ran like 13 miles, like as fast as you can in the wrong direction. And that's like the worst thing, because you don't know if you're meant to do that. And I love how you said, and God just gave me a little half step. That's all I could handle. And I feel that's absolutely true for me too. And thank God I didn't know more than I could know, because I would have gotten overwhelmed and I wouldn't have done anything. And I love what you said about how if you don't have stuff that's cringeworthy, something's wrong, because it means you're just waiting around. All right, cool. So this is really where I want to start to dissect this. And you were on the podcast, of course, already, and so great. But I want to take a piece of this also and share on the podcast as well. And something we didn't talk about, which I want to really dive into today, is just the notion of selling products and making millions. Because really and truly, I find it fascinating. Like, as a person who sells experiences and courses and does content and makes money by, you know, tons of downloads for something, or lots of people signing up for a program, I'm like, really? You can make money from products? Explain how that works, and explain what are some of the key ingredients to make them stand out.
Okay, so I want everybody to write the last thing they bought in the comments. Write food. Aren't you so grateful for the grocery store that gave that food to you? Oh my gosh, they're coming in so fast, you guys. Essential oils, baby gift. Paint for, okay, let's do that one. Paint for my daughter. Okay, think about why paint for her daughter. It went so fast I didn't get to see her name. Please forgive me. But why did you pull out your wallet to give someone money for that paint? Was it because your kid is bored, sitting at home, you don't want to put them in front of a screen. You want to help their creativity. Is it because they're thinking they're this budding artist and you want to be able to provide the materials to help them do that? When you think of your product as a solution, it's a game changer. So I have this gal that came in, Mariana. It took her 9 years to start her store. And she said, I just sell jewelry. It's not that important. It's not that great. And 2 weeks later, after she sold her jewelry, she got an email back from her customer and said, thank you so much. This is the part where I tear up. Thank you so much for selling me that jewelry. I sent it to my wife. We've been separated for almost a year. When she got that necklace, she called me, and we're working on our marriage. That is what selling does. Selling serves. If you sell a product, if you sell stuff, no one wants your stuff. If you sell a solution to someone's problem, that's where you change their world. That's when you change your world, and you go from this slimy, uncomfortable salesperson to a service person. All these products that you're writing in here, iron-on patches for my kids' t-shirt business. Oh, Cathy, you wrote that. That was convenient, right? Why is Cathy buying iron-on patches? To help her children learn how to run their own business so that they have options in life besides the 9-to-5 job. Audra, why did she buy vitamins? She can probably tell us why she bought vitamins. These entrepreneurs step up and say, I'm here to serve you. Cathy, here are patches for your kids so that they can learn that they have opportunities. You guys have to step into this role, because if you don't and you hold back and you're like, I don't want to charge money, my product isn't valuable enough, you're actually being very greedy, because these people need you and they need your product. No matter if it's digital, no matter if it's physical, it is your obligation to get out there and serve someone's life with your product. I'm writing with a pen right now. Do you know how grateful I am for Acroball Pilot Company right here? I am like, they've got this smooth glider pen. I love this company. My Bubba right here, I do not miss a day without drinking these suckers. Why? It's because I get migraines all the time. And when I'm hydrated, I don't get them. I am so grateful that they created a swimming pool with a handle because I remember to drink all my water. I haven't gotten a migraine for so long. So the people that came up with a mug, and really, is this a new invention? No. You don't have to create, you don't have to have new inventions, right? It was just solving my problem. This is the hose from the swimming pool. Alison doesn't get migraines. I love this company.
Alison, it's so good what you're saying. It's just so energizing, and it just hits you right in the chest. You're like, this is true. This is true. Everything she's saying feels so good because it is good, because it's true. So you said before something really important, which is you learned how to pre-sell things. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is really good to sort of dissect a little bit, because when you're just starting, the idea of like, I think we make great the enemy of good. We're like, okay, I'm just starting and I learned how to make my own ice cream. So the only possibility here is to get a brick and mortar and charge all my credit cards so I have a physical, right? We make it always like the hardest way. So people think, oh, I'm going to sell these candles. Let's say somebody knew how to make this like brass, beautiful hand. It's like, okay, so how do I make 1,000 of these? I'll be broke by this. You know, even Jamie Kern-Lima said to me when recently, well, she said it to everybody. She's been on like every podcast now. Yes. And she said to get onto QVC, it literally broke the bank because she had to, for that reason, have all the product in hand. If we're not going to approach it that way, how do we break down the steps of the pre-sell? How does that work so that we can actually start without having to make it all first?
Okay, so first thing, I think you should sell the crap around your house to give you the money to buy the thing that you want, right? We all have stuff sitting in the corner collecting dust. There's so many places that we can sell products. We got Mercari, we got Poshmark, we got eBay, we got Facebook groups. You can sell stuff. My boys the other day, they wanted some gizmo gadget, and I said, okay, figure out how you can create money. They went up to their room. They got old books they don't read anymore. They put them on a Facebook marketplace. They used my husband's account because they're little. They took pictures. They posted it, and they made $60. What? So our homes are literally sitting on a cash machine in the first place. And if you're like, Alison, I just moved. Okay, I got that for you too. I've got a neighbor here in Puerto Rico. I live in Puerto Rico. She just moved here. She literally doesn't have anything in her house. So she went to the local secondhand store and worked out a deal with a secondhand store to sell her a product for $1. So at the end of the day, when everybody came and picked over everything, she went in and got products for $1. She sells them for $25 to $250. That's not what she wants to do, but that gave her the money to launch the baby business that she had in her mind. And she felt more comfortable about doing it because it wasn't like diving into her food money or her budget money. And so she leveraged what we all have, stuff, and then we went and sell it. And then if you need ideas on how to sell it or how to take pictures, we have Pinterest, right? Pinterest is like the greatest creative library. So if you don't have creativity, it's okay. One of my very first products, I went into the backyard, I found this long stick of wood, and I got on Pinterest and I'm like, what do you do with wood? And I found these blocks of wood. So I went out and I cut them down into like maybe 1.5 by 1.5 inch blocks of wood. And I said, okay, I'm going to sell these. I put it up online. Okay, I hope you're all sitting down for this because I still have to sit down for this because it's insane. I put these blocks of wood. I had a couple sets, I think maybe 10 sets that I actually physically had. I put them up online. And before I was taking pictures of them, my neighbor walks up and he's like, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm going to sell these blocks of wood. And he said, you're going to sell trash? And I was like, what? No, no. I put them up online and I sold those first ones so quickly. So I get on the phone, and this is how I learned about the pre-sales. I get on the phone with my best friend and I'm like, Stacy, help me find someone that can make me blocks of wood fast. And she said, okay. So we were on the phone. We were calling every wholesaler we could in the United States, trying to figure out how we get these same type of blocks of wood. We found a place that could ship them to us in 2 days. So we put them back up on the site. We sold over $9,000 in 24 hours on naked blocks of wood. I didn't do anything with the blocks of wood. They were naked blocks of wood. That paid off my minivan in full. And so that's when I learned the power of pre-selling, because I had the money to go buy the big chunks of wood or the rest of the wood that I needed. I got them in 2 days and I shipped them out to my customers and no one even knew. It was so great. And that's when I was like, my world just changed. My world just changed.
How much do you love Alison Prince? How much do you want to switch places with me and be her best friend. She's the most amazing person in the world. And right before we started this call, I pulled out of Gabby Bernstein's deck another card for the day. And it says, when I'm tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundant. Write it down. When I am tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundant. Alison Prince, my friend who is teaching junior high, living in Utah with 4 children, right?
Yeah.
She tapped into the energy of abundance. And this is what's so fascinating is like when people say, I don't have the money to take a vacation. I don't have the money to get my own guitar. I don't have the money to take a course. I don't have the money to get my nails done. Fill in the blank. I don't have the money, right? But the money is there waiting for us, right? The I don't have the money story, it's an old story. And it's really like 100 years old. Because 100 years ago, it was actually harder to just tap into abundance, right? You'd have to get on a horse and travel through space and time to find a human who you could trade with to make money. Now we could pick up an extra $600 this week if we were going to drive Uber, take some Instacart, whatever orders you want to do. And Allison's like, yeah, or you could just pre-sell. You don't even have to have it. Take some pictures, put it on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, whatever the heck. Like Gary Vee always says also, it's the flip life. There you go. There's $9,000. Like you said before, do you have a phone? Do you have a computer? But Allison, this card is for you. And
I'll take it.
I mean, what do you say to people about this very, very contagious scarcity mindset? Because clearly you've like sledgehammered that over and over again. And you've seen with your own eyes, like because people are going, what? People will buy blocks of wood. That's why you said I have to sit down for this. We just don't believe the clients are there. The money is there. The people are there. How can you help us understand it better? Because you're living it.
It's a learning process, Cathy. I grew up, my grandparents raised me. Cathy, I think we have very similar background stories. And my grandparents, they lived in the Depression. And they taught me to recycle my tinfoil. They taught me to clean my baggies and like air dry them, right? I still struggle with abundance. I do. But I have said, Alison, there's abundance and there's a scarcity mentality. Which one makes me feel whole? Which one makes me want to serve more? Which one makes me want to say, everybody can do this? The abundance mentality. I know I have to step into that to serve at the highest level. Even when I was selling cupcake liners. So I did those blocks of wood. That was like in month 3 that I started my business. I started selling cupcake liners. And how did I step into abundance with cupcake liners? Well, I sold them as a mom's time-saving trick, because how many of you have scrubbed a cupcake liner pan? No, you just throw the whole dang pan away.
That's what I just did. Literally, I've never heard anyone say that out loud. Yes, I did. They were horrible. My daughter wanted to make this. It was like red velvet cake, and it was horrible, and it all went out in the trash.
Yeah. So I stepped into it, and I said, these cupcake liners are going to save you the money from throwing the pan away or hours from scrubbing out a pan. And wouldn't you rather be eating those cupcakes with your kids or playing with them or being with them or taking these cupcakes to the bake fair and becoming queen of the bake fair? Yeah, don't spend your time with the other stuff. And so even with Cupcake Solutions, when you start solving problems for people based around your product, the scarcity mentality goes out the window because you know that this product will literally help them. And it helps to dissolve Alison, you need to recycle your tinfoil. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like to recycle and I love a good coupon. But I think when we put that into our customers and the scarcity mentality, they feel it and they run away. Just like a dog, if you have a dog and you have to run out the door, your dog runs out the door and you chase after them, they run 10 miles down the road. But if you turn around and run the other way, they come and chase you. And so living that abundance mentality when you're like, customer, I am here for you. I'm here to serve you. Those earrings that you just bought from me, they're going to make you look snazzy. You have been wearing sweats for an entire year. Let's make you look snazzy. They're going to say, I love you. Thank you for helping me feel so much better because I haven't felt really good for like a year because we've all been in lockdown and we have stupid masks we have to wear unless you live in Texas, right?
Susie just asked a fun question, which is, what was the problem being solved with the wooden blocks?
Oh, this is a good one.
Spin that.
This is a good one. Okay, you can do this too on your own. You can go to Pinterest and type in blocks of wood, and there's like 10,000 ideas that you can do. And one of the things that I said was, how many of you struggle with a Mother's Day present? Or how many of you struggle with your mom's birthday present? Everybody struggles with that, right? Like shopping for your mom is like the hardest thing in the whole world. Mm-hmm. And so I said, take a set of 9 blocks of wood, paste your kids' pictures with different expressions on these blocks of wood. Like you just glue it, you Mod Podge it on, you tie a big bow around the 9 blocks of wood, and then you present that to them on their birthday. Imagine their face when they open it up to see a present they actually want to display on their mantle. Or what if you took 4 of them and created a countdown? So it's 12 days until Christmas. So 1, 2, until Christmas. You could put them on the blocks of wood. Imagine cute little chubby toddler fingers counting down in anticipation of Christmas. These are the stories. These are the problems that you solve, and your customers take on that and they're like, yeah, I can imagine my mom's face when I give her the present. I can imagine those chubby little sticky fingers counting down, because our kids get old and it's just not as exciting when they know what's coming up, right? Treasure those moments for as long as possible. So yeah, I
love that. You're so creative, and it's
Cathy. I'm not. It's Pinterest. And Pinterest is our creativity bucket. So if you're like 0 on the creativity, it's okay. Cathy is. I need Pinterest.
But I love that too, because it's such a great tactic to be able to like have a product and then see different ways in which it can be used. You can go to Pinterest and pick your favorite 3. But what I love about Alison is you have enthusiasm, which is just so magnetic. And when you tell the story, you're like all in it. When you talked about that, like, this is the swimming pool I drink with the little straws so that I don't have a migraine. And it is so true that when products solve problems for us, we're so grateful, right? We're so grateful that they exist. Here's the thing. For those of us who haven't had experience selling on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Etsy or anywhere else, I think there might be a belief that it is very saturated. How can we come to understand how we can be on these big platforms and that people will actually find us, or we can find them rather? How do we stand out once we're on these platforms? I
love this question so much. When Cathy started asking me, I don't know if you saw me, but I'm like, yeah, here's the next one. I know I'm in my zone because it makes me so happy. The Cathy always talks about made to do this. I was made to talk about business. I was made to sell products. And it's so fun to be able to be in there. And so saturation. Okay, roll it back to, when did you have your first Mrs. Fields cookie? Do you guys remember?
Oh my God, yes. I used to get them at the mall, and I would get the oatmeal raisin one, and it was like warm in the middle. Oh my God, so good.
So good, right? Okay, from then until now, how many other different brands of cookies have you had?
Oh my God.
A gajillion?
Yeah, thousands probably.
Yeah, there's room for you, just like there's room for more chocolate chip cookies. Everybody has a different taste. Everybody has a different style. Some people are only Mrs. Fields, like they are diehard Mrs. Fields. And then there's other people, swig cookies. If you've ever had a swig cookie, frosting like thicker than the actual cookie. Everybody has different tastes and different styles, and people are looking for your taste and your style. I have a gal, she sold t-shirts. She started her business about 2 years ago. She sold t-shirts, like the most saturated product in the entire world. She's about to cross the $1 million mark selling t-shirts. Why? Because she created a different type of cookie in the marketplace. She serves her customers at the highest level. She's actually one of the highest. She prices her products at one of the highest prices in the market, and she sells out constantly. It's because it's not just a t-shirt. Here, buy this t-shirt. You can go get t-shirts at Walmart, low price leader, right? There's a lot of people that don't want the low price leader t-shirt that you wash one time, then you have to throw it away. She produces high quality products, t-shirts that have a little love note in the back and the hang tag right back here. Cathy knows I sent, her daughter stole it. High quality t-shirts that you can wear for the next 10 years. And you're pulling it out and you're like, this thing doesn't even have holes yet. And she stands by her products. When her customers order, she works with wholesalers. She'll send them a couple other products, upcoming t-shirts. Hey, I want you to see what's coming up. It's the way she spoils her customers. It's the way she makes you feel that she has this huge clientele that got her to, she might be there. She's just super, super close to that $1 million mark. And it's a t-shirt. It's not saturated. It's not saturated. We all have space. We all have different tastes. Our customers all have different tastes, and they're looking for yours. They're looking for your cookie and your, like, the uniqueness of what you have to offer.
So much of this is about the story that we tell around the product. And I remember last time you were here, we talked about the llamas, which is a great story. And you guys can hear that if you go back and listen to Alison's first episode. But what are the best ways to tell that story? Is it through your Instagram? Is it in the descriptions? Is it in the photos you take? When you're putting products out there, what are the most important pieces to making sure that story gets heard and resonates?
Okay, so the number one thing, at least I found in the e-commerce world, is that people don't read. You put up a product and you're like 12 by 12 and they get it and they're like, I thought it was 3 by 3. And You're like, what did that, where, what? So your pictures have to be good. They have to be good. And if you're like, I'm not a photographer, I'm not either. There's Facebook groups where you can do swaps. There's high school students that need projects to be done, right? Don't let photography stop you. There's plenty of people that can take pictures. Give it to your teen, put it on your phone on portrait mode, give it to your teen. I bet you they can rock it and knock it out of the park. And so the visualization in a picture matters. Now, if you've seen pictures at Amazon, it's just got the white backdrop. That's great for Amazon because that's what they require. But on your own site, you tell stories with your pictures. That's going to capture. We're very visual people. We want to see. And then start with, Cathy's talking about the llama. They're scrolling on Facebook, right? When I went to, I'll just do a recap of it. When I went to Idaho, there's a gas station that had llamas, and we didn't need anything from the gas station, but we had to pull off to feed the llamas because my kids would say they want to feed the llamas. We spent $40 to $60 by the time we got out of there. Snacks, refill, all that kind of stuff. When people are scrolling on social media, you've got to give them the llama. What's the thing that's going to get them off the freeway of social media into your location? And you can do that by solving the problem. You sick and tired of your kids being on the screen? Here's some paint. Here's some iron-on patches. Have them start a business. You're like triggering the problem. You're showing them the vision. And then that helps drive traffic to your store.
Oh, good. How do you, if you're going, because you mentioned the pictures piece. So if you're going to pre-sell something and you don't have it to take pictures of, but you have a mock-up or you have an idea of it, what would you do? What picture would you take, or how would you create some kind of a rendering of this thing?
Okay, so I actually recommend that you do get at least one sample. Because the last thing that you want to do is sell a whole bunch of them, actually get the product. You read that it was a 3 by 3. You sold it as a 3 by 3, but it was really a 12 by 12. You're going to get a whole bunch of ornery customers. I remember we have a pillowcase business. We actually, Cathy, that's the one that we celebrated. We sold that one back in September. And my first order, I asked for a 20 by 30, and they sent me a 20 by 30. They sent centimeters. I was thinking inches. If I didn't get that sample, I would have had literally a truckload of baby pillowcases.
Oh my God.
What to do with. And so I highly, highly recommend always getting a sample. I still get samples today because of that, just like little tiny things like that. You assume that they're speaking in inches when they're not. And so always get a sample. And with that sample, that's when you can take pictures of it. So you know exactly what to do. Then you can start creating videos and putting that story on your Instagram or your Facebook or sneak peeks. Maybe you take a picture of I don't know, a side of it and put it on your Instagram and be like, look what's coming up. Can anybody guess what it is? And then you're getting the conversation going and starting to tell that story. So here's a sneak peek. And the next one, why did I get this product? The next one, what problem does it solve? The next one, here's a testimonial of it. And so you can use all these pieces that you're pulling together as the content for all your social media.
So good.
All right, let's dive into the top 10 takeaways when Cathy interviewed me. Number 1, you can't learn it all before you start. You just have to start. Number 2, think of your products as solutions to your customers. That's where sales happen. Number 3, sell the stuff around your house to find money to invest and have money to be able to pay for product that you actually want to sell. Number 4, use Pinterest. It is the most beautiful creative library out there if you don't have a creative bone in your body. And even if you do have a creative bone in your body, it's great to use. Great resource. Number 5, when you tune into the energy of abundance, you become abundant. Number 6, there's room for you to sell your product with so much more room left over. Number 7, spoil your customers. Spoil them. Number 8, get good pictures to sell your product. Number 9, get people off the highway to drive traffic into your store. And number 10, you need to get samples of your product. Don't sell them junk. Nope, no junk allowed. Okay, wrapping that up, but don't forget to go sign up for the 5-day sprint. It'll help you to find your perfect product to sell online just in time for what's right around the corner, the holiday sales. Findyourperfectproduct.com. All right. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later.